Coach Prime on tour. So I don't know if you noticed, but I tend to notice because I'm watching Coach Prime pretty closely. But Prime managed to get on the Today Show, the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and CBS Mornings all in the same week. Let me put this another way. What other college football coach do you know of who gets on CBS's morning show, NBC's morning show, and NBC's late night show in a random week in March? I know this is going to feel like I'm hearkening back to last week, but that's because I am. Deion Sanders was on the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show wearing a Colorado hat. And you're going to try to tell me that ain't got nothing to do with your admissions going through the roof. Okay, that's that. He's got a new book coming out, right? He's telling us about his leadership and how he believes that his book on leadership can help young people and people that want to become leaders succeed. But all of that, for me, doesn't really get to the idea of why would you want Jimmy Fallon to interview Deion Sanders? It's because, well, he's going to do things like what he did. So you have your bits set up. And one of the bits that was set up for Fallon was to say, hey, we know that Bucky's around filming people, but there is a contingent of people that believe that Shedeur Sanders should be the number one draft pick in the 2025 class, to which Prime said, yeah, he should be. Not only did he agree that Shedeur should be the number one pick in 2025, he's gone on record saying, I don't want him to play nowhere cold. But if Green Bay drafts him, I don't think he's going to turn down nothing but his collar. That said, he gets to say that, right? Kirby Smart's talking at the Making Touchdown Club. Prime is talking on broadcast television. Do you see how these are not the same? All right. Now, put that down for a second, and then let's talk about his claim that Shedeur should be the number one overall pick in 2025. Is there a comparison to that? I think there is, right? Because while this draft class in 2024 is not as good as the 2025 draft class, all things being equal, there is an argument for Shedeur going number one if a quarterback is indeed what a franchise is in the market for in 2025. I think the comp there is Caleb Williams, but not in the way you think. Shedeur Sanders had the best-selling college football jersey of 2023. As a matter of fact, the only athlete to outsell Shedeur's jersey is Caitlin Clark, and she is her own planet right now. We at Fox Sports even had a Caitlin Cam. We're going to be watching the women's basketball tournament because South Carolina is undefeated. Haley Van Lith is going to play against Louisville, and Caitlin Clark is the sun. Okay, that's that. Shedeur Sanders is that in our sport right now, mostly because he is a great player and his father is his father, right? But take into account, his production basically stayed the same from going from the FCS level to the FBS level. Last year, he only played 11 games, still passed for a school record at Colorado, 3,200 plus yards, 27 TDs, completed 66% of his passes. Now, the team wasn't very good, but that's also a team that could not keep him upright, got him sacked close to 50 times. Okay? Now, take into account what some other quarterbacks have done, right? His numbers next to Caleb Williams in this USC-Colorado game were pretty damn good. And that's without the offensive line and the out-of-structure play that is Caleb Williams' talent. Shedeur needs to be on time. And I think as much as I'm going to compare his star power to Caleb Williams, he actually reminds me more of J.J. McCarthy as a passer. He needs to be in rhythm. He needs to be on time. He's going to get rid of the ball very quickly. Does he have the arm strength of J.J. McCarthy? Probably not. Does he have the wheels of J.J. McCarthy? Probably not. But if you're talking about a guy that is going to be able to contend in the NFL, a man who's going to walk in with confidence and charisma, and a man who people are going to show up to watch play, meaning you're going to sell a lot of tickets and you're going to see him play on television a lot, Shedeur Sanders is your guy. Outside of that, who are the guys that he'd be up against in that category? I'll give you the names, right? Quinn Ewers at Texas completed 69% of his passes for 3,400 plus yards, 22 TDs, 6 picks, en route to Texas' first conference championship since 2009, first college football playoff appearance ever. But if you had to pick one, it's a dead heat, right? You're going to probably pick Ewers because he won a championship and he played in the playoff. I would also add he had an explosively good offensive line. Really, really good offensive line. Shedeur Sanders didn't have any of that. Imagine what happens if you give him a little bit of protection. Next on that list is Carson Beck, who had an outstanding year in 2023. 69% of his passes, very nice for him. 3,900 yards passing, 24 TDs, 6 INTs, right? No, better percentage. He had 72% completion rate, right? He also had a Monstar wearing 1-9. His name is Brock Bowers, right? He had an outstanding offensive line. Also, lost to Jalen Milroe in Alabama, who would also be on this list, right? I think Jalen Milroe's got the winning gene, but you would still like to see him hold on the ball better. You would like to see him not throw the ball to the other team. And then on this list is also Cam Ward, who's at Miami. The thing about Ward, though, is I think this is the guy who would give the direct comparison to Shedeur Sanders because they were both playing at the FCS level before transferring to what was Power 5 schools and now are Power 4 schools, depending on how you feel about Washington State playing mostly a Mountain West schedule. Okay. That said, last year, Cam Ward threw for 3,700 yards, 25 TDs, 7 picks. That's pretty damn good. Better than the 2022 numbers where he had 32, 31 for 23 and 9, right? But it's nowhere near what he was doing at Incarnate Word in 2021 when he threw 4,600 plus yards, 47 TDs, and 10 picks. So one of these guys translated his game just fine to the FBS level, playing in the Pac-12. The other guy, not so much. And I think if you're talking about a talent standpoint, it's pretty equal. And as far as what Cam Ward had at his disposal and what Shedeur Sanders had at his disposal, right? You could tell me about Travis Hunter and I would believe you, but Travis Hunter had just 213 receiving yards in 2023. And Jimmy Horn and Xavier Weaver were doing lots more of that work going into the season, especially as the season progressed. I'm curious to find out how NFL evaluators feel about Shedeur Sanders because I think it's going to be, again, a J.J. McCarthy comp, where if you're doing the best available, it's going to be difficult for you to put him into the top 20. However, it's not hard to see him being the first, second, or even third quarterback coming off the board in the first round of the of next year's NFL draft, which is 2025. So I think Prime knows something, right? But how he delivers his message has always been most entertaining to me. At any point, Prime could have said Shedeur Sanders ought to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft in 2025. But he said it on the Tonight Show. That is marketing you cannot buy. If you like what you've seen, consider subscribing to the number 1 college football show on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcast.